First thing we're going to do here is fill up our comparator to 25 milliliters right here.
We want to take our test from the same corner of the pool there, the southwest end. That way, especially at open, because that way if we have adjustments to make, we get consistent readings.
There it is, right there. 25. Now we're going to take 2 scoops of the 0870 right here. Just a regular level scoop or close to it. If you do a little more, that's alright. Then allow you could do it. Even a rounded scoop's not going to hurt nothing. Alright. Bang that baby in there a little bit. That pink color, red, that tells you there's plenty of chlorine in there. Okay. If it's clear, that means there's no chlorine in there.
Dry your hands before you scoop the powder, because if it gets wet inside that container, then the powder's ruined, basically.
Go ahead and use the 0871, the R0871, and we're going to go ahead and shake it as we put it in. We got 2, 3 drops, 4 drops, 5 drops, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're starting to get there. It's starting to clear up. You can see a little bit clearer. We're at 10, 11, 12. Okay. Now we're just about there. So that means we got about 2.6 at 12. Excuse me, 2.4. About 2.4 parts per million on the chlorine. After we're done with that, we're going to put the RO003 to do the combined test. 5 drops of that, 3, 4, and 5. You see a little bit of pink there, that means we've got some combined chlorine there. So we're going to go back to our 0871, hit it with a drop, see if that does it. Not quite. Spilled it all over. We go another drop. Alright, that about did it. Might even be able to do one more here. See if we get any change. So basically we got about 0.6 on the combined chlorine, because that was 3 drops. Anything you get, you're going to multiply it by 2, and it's going to give you your reading. So that means we got a 2.4 on the combined chlorine, or excuse me, on the free chlorine, and 0.6 on the combined. So we're going to come right over here to our log of operations book. We're going to put down the date, time we're doing it. 2, it's almost 2. My initials, number of the test kit. Now we're going to go down here, 2.4 combined and 0.6, or excuse me, 2.4 free chlorine, 0.6 for the combined. Fill our comparator again. This time we're going all the way up to 40. So now we're at 40 milliliter mark here. Okay, so when we do the pH test, we want to make sure that not only did we clean out the comparator nice and rinse it out nice before we filled it up, you want to make sure you rinse out the cap too, because the cap, if there's any kind of residue on either one of these, it can mess up your test results. So here we go. We're going to put in 5 drops of the 0004, R0004. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're going to try to get ourselves a little pH reading here. So now what we do is we take a peek on this back side here, and we try to compare with the numbers that are on the side here. Sometimes you have to hold it up against something white to get a better bead on. It's like 7.4. So we're going to come on over here to our checklist on the Chem checklist and put down 7.4. There it is. So let's try a pH test when the pH is a little bit high. Five drops of the 0004. So we're way up there around 7, 8. We're going to do an acid demand test. The acid demand test right here. We're just going to do one drop. It's probably all we're going to need to get it into the acceptable range. So there's our one drop. And that changed us from about 7.8 to about 7.4. So that would be, and you have to check the log of operations charts to make sure you're within the acceptable range. If the pH was too low, then rather than using the acid demand, we'd use the base demand test. One drop at a time, same thing, until it gets to within the acceptable range. So on our water balance and chemical checklist, we could put down for our pH 7.8 right here. Let's say it was Monday at open. We'd put our pH right here, 7.8. Then we would want to put down how much acid that we added in minutes, 5 minutes, because it took one drop of the acid demand. And we know that one drop is going to give us 5 minutes from this chart right here. If it took one drop, you need 5 minutes of acid on the timer. So we can put that down in our checklist as well. 5 minutes of acid. So we would put it right here at the bottom, very bottom. Acid in minutes on the timer from the pump room right here. Alright, so let's do an alkalinity test. We've filled our comparator to the 25 milliliter mark. We're going to take the 0007, put 2 drops in. 2. And then we're going to take the 0008, we're going to put 5 drops in. 2 and 5. Now we're going to pour in the 0009 until our green turns to red. So here we go. 7, should be getting there. 7. Almost. 8. Very close. 9. 10. 10, we'll call it 11. So that would be times 10, it'd be 110 ppm on the alkalinity. Alright, so we're going to do our calcium hardness test. We're going to start off at a 25 milliliter mark here, halfway up the comparator. We're going to use our 0010, 20 drops. Alright, there's that. We're going to want to use 5 drops of the 0011L. Give that a good little swirl. And finally, we're going to finish off with the 0012. And we're going to try to get this color here to turn blue. Okay, we're at 20. It's starting to turn purple. So we're going to slow down. 30, 32, real close now, 33, and that's it. 33, that baby's blue. So we're going to multiply 33 times 10. That's going to be 330 ppm, parts per million. So the alkalinity, we'd put the alkalinity here. If it was Monday at open, we'd put it here at 110. Since 11 drops times 10 is 110 ppm. Calcium hardness, same thing. We got 33 drops, so we're going to put 330 ppm right here. Okay, so this is our chart for adjusting chemicals. Okay, so if the water's above 92 degrees or below 88, we want to adjust it. We have clarity, watercolor, flow rate, pH. If our pH is above 7.4 or below 7.2, we want to adjust. Our free chlorine, if it's above 5 or below 2.2 ppm, parts per million, we want to adjust it. The alkalinity, if it's above 120 or below 90, we want to adjust. Calcium hardness, if it's above 500 ppm or below 300 ppm. And these particular levels are subject to change, so you always want to consult the chart, make sure you know where exactly each specific thing is supposed to be. So this is our chart to notify the swim director if any of the particular conditions in the water get to these above or below these numbers. So if calcium hardness, for instance, got above 600 ppm or below 200, you would want to notify the swim director. Same with the alkalinity. If it was above 120 or below 80, you want to talk to the swim director. If your pH is above 7.6 or below 7.2, you want to notify the swim director. Okay, so this is the one where we have to make sure we retest if we don't get the readings we're looking for. Let's say come in and the free chlorine is above 5 parts per million or below 1.6. We're going to have to suspend class, okay? So we have to, if we come in and we have an issue like this, we need to deal with it as quickly as we can so we don't have to suspend class if we don't have to. If you need to add some chems, then you go ahead and hit the timer. Let's say it was only at 1. We needed at least a 0.6. So here we can see that 0.6, to get it up 0.6, we would need 6.75 minutes. Okay, we want to get it to 2.2. So if it was at 1, we'd actually want to go up 1.2. So we'd want to set the timer for 13.5 minutes. So 2.2 is our target, but the class can be started if it's at 1.6. 1.6 is the minimum for chlorine. So if the alkalinity was above 160 or below 70, then we need to make an adjustment before we can let people in the water. Calcium hardness, if it's above 800 or below 100, again, we have to suspend class until that adjustment is made to get it within the acceptable range. Anytime that you take a test and it's above or below an acceptable range here where we have to suspend class, then we're definitely going to want to retest before we let people into the pool. That's why it's so important to get the adjustment taken care of quickly so that hopefully we don't have to suspend a class, or if we do, only for a few minutes. So if you have a value that's way off of the chart or even enough to suspend class above and below the acceptable levels, then retest, because it's possible that a mistake was made doing the test and we don't want to suspend class because of a mistake on a test. So if you get a different value on the second test, do a third test so that you can determine which test had the correct result and hopefully why.